Alright guys, Dr. Uptown here, headed back over to Howard, Kansas to Cassidy Hardware to pick up another gun. I realize it's only been about 4 or 5 days since I brought you guys the Rock Island 2011 model, tactical 1911, but you know, sometimes when the price is right, you just got to jump at certain things, and they had another pistol on auction, and I want it with a very good price. We'll show it to you when we get over there and explain to you kind of what our plans are for it in the future. Anyway, we'll get back with you when we get back over there. We got about an hour and 15-minute drive, so talk to you then. Alright guys, Dr. Uptown here again, back with you. We just got back from Howard in Cookson's Hardware over there. They great guys as always. What I got from them was this 1911 here, and by just doing some preliminary looking it over, looks like it's going to be another 1911 firearm rescue situation. What this is this is an Essex Arms 1911. They, if you don't know much about 1911s, Essex Arms has been around forever, at least since the early 70s, and they are one of the original producers of aftermarket 1911 parts, and they've moved several times. You can find them stamped either from California, Vermont, and they just recently are in the process of moving their operations from Vermont to Florida. And over the years, they've had kind of on again, off again quality control issues. This one's a higher numbered, so shouldn't have any real problems with it. And obviously, somebody's attempted to build it. But what I suspect happened is somebody decided they wanted to build a 1911 on the cheap, so what they've done is they've gone and gotten Essex frame and slide, and then I'm suspecting that what they did was they came up with a GI parts kit, and you don't see those too much anymore, but used to be you could go out and buy a parts kit, and what it was all GI surplus parts. It was all the internal parts. It didn't include the frame or the slide. I mean, you might get grips with it, might not, just depending on the kit. But whoever, appears to me that whoever had went to do that, that's what they did, not really knowing what they were doing, and obviously they hadn't watched all of us on YouTube tell them how to do things. So the reason I suspect that is the first thing that you'll notice on this is it's missing the front sight, and it doesn't look like they've ever attempted to put one in. And that can be kind of a daunting task if you don't know how to do it. The next little issue I ran into is you'll notice that the hammer's got some slop in it. Now it does lock at the half cock, and it does lock back at the full cock, but one of the things you'll notice here is without the grip safety engaged, you could drop the hammer, and that's a no-no on 1911. The thumb safety works fine. It does a good job of blocking off the hammer, so that part is adjusted correctly. The other thing I noticed here on this barrel bushing it is really tight to open it up all the way. And I suspect that, again, that's just because somebody didn't bother to do the final fitting procedures on it. Another thing that kind of leads me to thinking that this is a GI parts gun is the little divot that's cut in the into the bushing block. Typically that is kind of a Colt giveaway, that this part was made by Colt, and it's also a giveaway that it was made probably pre or during World War II. I want to say that they did do that on some, and they did not do that. They did it on some and didn't do it on some following that. But generally speaking, prior to the end of World War II, that was a standard procedure for Colt. Like I say, this barrel bushing just fits really super tight, which just means that it's just a little bit of feeding issue that's involved there. The barrel is unmarked, so I don't know whose barrel that is. The link is in it, and it is tight, and it does appear that it was pinned in place so that the pin wouldn't come out. The next issue I run into on the frame is the magazine release. It is in there, and it does function somewhat. It hangs up a little bit. Again, that's usually just because of a tight fit, but it will not accept a magazine. And generally the reason those won't accept a magazine is because they did not fit it to accept a magazine. Usually there's quite a bit of extra meat on the inside of that to allow for adjustments, and that hasn't been done. And one of the last things that I found so far, just looking it over, is the ejector is loose, which when you get a raw ejector, there's a small pin that retains the injector. It's located right here, and the ejector, I'll pull this up, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a guide pin here, and then there's a through pin here. Both of these pins have holes cut into the frame this way that allow the pin to set down in there. But when you buy a brand new ejector, it does not have a groove cut to allow this pin to pass. And so what you have to do is you have to get it fit into the frame, mark that pin, then pull the ejector out and cut a groove in it to allow that pin to pass. And that's generally what holds that in tightly. Now, there's the right way to fix this, and there's the poor man way to fix this. The right way to fix it would be to get a new ejector, pop the pin out, pop this old ejector out, mark the new ejector, put the pin back in place where it belongs, and to do it. The poor man way to fix it is to get you some Loctite, put down in these holes, and then compress this down until the Loctite is set, and that'll lock it into place. Nothing particularly wrong with either method, but it just depends on what you want to do with it. What I'm going to do with this pistol is, and I had already started this when I bought it. Once I knew that I had won the bid on it, I ordered me a set of GI sights. And while that sounds easy, it certainly is not, because the first thing most people do is they knock the GI sights off and get rid of them and replace them with some other good sight. And so I actually kind of was a pain in the butt, but I did find a supplier that had a set of contract numbered GI sights available, so I've got those on the way. I also have the old school Bakelite grip panels on the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this back to a World War I, World War II issue style 1911. Of course, I'm going to have to go through the internals and figure out what's up with those and fit some parts in there. But anyway, that's where we stand with our gun that we got. Just noticing here, also another place that wasn't fit was this, the back end of this extractor is humped out there. So that'll take some additional fitting also. Tell you what I'm going to do with this though. I paid just slightly over $300 for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep track of how much I actually spend total on this, and we'll see where we end up. And I'll be curious to find out. I bet you we can do this for under $400. So to give you a good idea of what you can do with less than $500 for to get yourself a 1911 that functions very well. Like I say, Essex Arms is kind of an interesting deal. I'll kind of go back to that. They've been around since the mid-70s. So that probably makes them one of the oldest aftermarket producers of 1911 parts. But what's funny about them is they never actually made complete guns. They made all the parts to build a gun on your own or have a gunsmith build one for you. But they never actually built them themselves. And like I say, of late, you just don't see too many of them around anymore. But you used to see a lot of Essex frames with World War I, World War II Colt or Springfield or Remington Rand slides on them available, and you just don't see them a lot anymore. But that's the deal with the Essex frame. Like I say, sometimes they did have quality control issues. So whether I could say recommend, yeah, definitely, if you run across one, buy it or whatever, I don't know. Because, like I say, some of their frames were very usable, others of their frames not so much. But generally speaking, if you've got one put together, it's probably something that is semi-recoverable. This one is definitely a recoverable piece, so we'll just get into it and see what it takes to fix it. And like I say, I'll keep track of cost absorption on it, and we'll see where we end up at. But yeah, I think this can certainly be made very functional for under $500. So anyway, hope you guys find this interesting. We'll talk to you later. Have a good day.